Hello friends, today we will discuss about C# programming, some concepts. So here are the list which we will discuss. What is structure, struct in C#, how to instantiate access fields, methods and initialization of struct, what is nested array and methods in struct, explain struct with the example. So we will discuss all these topics one by one with the example. So let's begin. First topic we have a structure. So what is a structure? A struct in C# is a value type that can hold multiple related variables, fields of different data types under a single unit. So a structure is a value type where its memory is stored. Whatever data we provide, it can store in stack, and it can hold multiple variables data into this structure, because we have multiple data fields into this one, methods, and we can create constructor into this structure. So we can use it with struct keyword. So it is defined using struct keyword. As I already told you, it is stored in the stack, unlike classes which are references types stored on the heap. So its data mainly stored in stack, but classes data is stored mainly on heap. We will also discuss about classes in next lectures. So it is useful for representing lightweight objects like employee, person, department, etc. So it can hold lightweight objects like employee model, person model, department model. So here is the syntax of structure. First we have to, if we want to use this structure, we have to use struct keyword. If we want to create any model for structure, then we can create in this way, and this is the structure name which we provide, and here are the fields which we can create into this structure, like public field, this is data type and field name, and this is the constructor. So constructor means same name as that of structure. So here if we want to create any constructor, so it can hold the same name, and here we provide two parameters for this one, and we put these parameter values into these fields. Here we create one method to display inside the structure. Next we have instantiation of structure. So how we can instantiate? First we have to create the structure model, then we can instantiate with this one structure name, and then create the initialization of objects with new keyword, and this is the default in instantiation. Okay, and here we are providing two values one by one into two fields, like first one is integer field and second one is string field. And if we want to provide values directly on the instantiation time, means on the initialization time, then we can provide in this way. So this is called a constructor. Next one we have accessing fields and method. If we want to access our fields or methods, so how we can access it? We can access in this way. First we have to use that structure name which we create that one, and then the field name, and next if we want to call our methods, then in this way we can call the method name and the parentheses. Next one we have initialization. So how to initialize it? Field by field. If we want to field by field initialize, means we can if we want to provide values field by field, in this way we can provide using parameterized constructor. If we want to directly provide the values like using the parameters constructor, then we can provide in this way on the initialization time. So let's see these all these in Visual Studio. First we have to create the structure with the struct keyword. Here we can provide the structure name. First we can provide some fields for this one. Employee name, and then if we want to create a constructor, then in this way we can create. So constructor name should be same as that of structure name, it is must. And if we want to provide some fields for this one, this constructor, then in this way we can provide some parameters, and in this one way we can provide the values for these fields, these particular fields. which we initialize above. And next if we want to create a method, then in this way we can create a method in structure. Display employee information. Okay, and if we want to display all these properties, all these values, then we can use this console.writeline, as we already know about this one. Employee ID, then employee ID, then employee name, so here is the structure. First we use the structure keyword if we want to create any structure model for this one, and then this is the structure name which we provide to this struct. And here we declare two fields values, employee ID and employee name, followed by one constructor with same name of the structure. And here we provide two parameters which we put these values to the fields. Next we create one methods inside this structure. Now let's initialize this one. How to instantiate this one? First we have to use the structure name which we provide employee, then create the name of the structure, and then in this way we can initialize it. Next if we want to provide the values one by one, then in this way we can provide. Next we can provide second value to this one. Okay, and next if we want to display these means inside this method, if we want to display all these data, we have to call this one, this method. So how we can call it? We can call in this way. Now let's see what it will give us. So we have all the values, means two values which we provided. First one is employee ID, that is 11, and employee name John. So in this way we can use structure field by field providing data. And suppose if we do not provide any data to this structure, so how it will react in this condition? Now it is considering integer value to 0 and string value null, means empty. So this is the default behavior of this structure. And if we want to provide these values through the constructor, then how we can do it? We can do in this way. We can directly provide the values rather than one by one. Now let's see this one also. So we have these two values same. So this is all about the structure. First we create fields inside this structure, and then constructor, and then one method. So in this way we can call and create the structure. So next topic is a nested structure. A structure can contain another structure. So if we want to create a multiple structure related with the first structure, then we can create in this way. First we have employee structure, and next we create a new structure for this one, means address. In this we provided two fields as related with the employee structure. So we can access in this way, structure inside structure. So we can use the address, means structure name, and then employee address which we provide for this nested structure. So we can see the nested structure also. We have to create the new structure for this one. Here we can provide some fields for this new structure. ID, public, string, department name. So we provided two fields inside a new structure, new department structure. and if we want to access this department structure inside the employee structure, so in this way we can access it. So it is a kind of nested structure. And if we want to display these properties, these two fields inside this employee structure, then we can use in this way: department ID and department or department ID, okay, department name, then okay. But here we do not provide any value, any data to this department ID or department name. So how we can give these data to this one? We can use department is equal to new department, like this, department ID, department name, IT department, okay. So in this way we can provide these values. Now let's see first the result. So we have all fields: employee ID, employee name, department ID, department name. So in this way we can display. Other ways, we also have another way is this one. We can provide the values field by field. Okay, now let's see this one result also. Now we have the same values, department ID and department name, as it is. So this is an example of nested structure. First we created one new structure, and inside the previous one we nested this one structure, new structure, and if we want to display these structure, new structure inside the employee structure, then we can provide in this way. And if we want to give the values, means provide some values, in this way we can do it. And another way is this one: directly on initialization time we can directly provide the values. Next we have arrays of structure. We can store multiple structures objects inside an array. So here any need arises where we want to provide or give some bulk amount of data. So one by one it is very difficult to create multiple structure for each record. So for this we can use array with structure. So in this way, first we have structure, we have a student structure, and if we want to provide 10 students data into this structure, into this same model, we do not create any 10 structures for this same pattern. And next if we want to use arrays with the structure, then we can do in this way. First we have to initialize with arrays, means square brackets, and with the structure, then we can initialize the range for this student. If we want to add 2 students data, then we can provide the number for this one, 2, 5, 10. According to our requirement we can set the range for this. So here we are providing 2 students data in this one. And if we want to display these data, we can use for each loop for this one. Next we can see the arrays of structure. We do not require department ID for right now. So we have to just display employee, and then array square brackets, then new employee. If we want to add 3 employees data, emp is equal to 0 employee ID 20. Here we need to set these values, employee names, okay, developers, coders, okay. And if we want to display these all data, first we can display, so we can see by calling the method. Now if we call this method for one time for zero indexing, how it will react in this situation? Let's see. Now it is displaying only first employee data, means first employee data we have 20 or programmers. It is not giving us these developers, coders. We can change the values also for more clarity. And if we want to display all these data, we have to change the indexing, means 3 employees data. Now it will display. Let's see this one. Now we have all 3 employees data, programmers, developers and coders. So in this way we can use or call. Another way we have for each loop, employee, then employee, then, so this one is the structure name, means model name we have. And if we want to call this by method one by one, then in this way we can call. Now let's see the result. So we have same result as before. So in this way we can use, or in this way, both are a good way. Next, if we do not want to initialize these values one by one, then we can do another way. Employee ID, then employee name, okay. Now on the initialization time we can directly provide the values. So in this way we can provide the values. Now let's see this one result. First we have to change these values for more clarity. Okay, now let's see the result. So we have all the result, means 3 employees data. So in this way we can initialize, or we can provide the values, or in this way, means value by value, means field by field we can provide, or on the instantiation time we can initialize the values to structure. So both ways are good. According to our requirement we can set any way. So this is all about the arrays in structure. Next we have methods inside structure. A structure can also contain methods just like classes. A structure can have multiple methods inside it, just as classes. So here already we created a structure model with the fields. So these are the fields, and this is a constructor with the same name as that of structure. Here we provide 2 parameters values, and we put these parameter values into these fields. And next we create one method inside the structure, and if we want to call this method, or if we want to initialize or get these values, how we can get it? We initialize this structure object, means create the structure object, and then we provide the values using parameterized constructor. And if we want to hit our method, invoke the method, then in this way we can use this one. As we already see this one, here we have the structure employee, where we provided two fields and a constructor with two parameter values and one methods. So this is the methods inside the structure. Next we have today's summary. So let's revise what we learned today. First, structure are value types stored in stack. So structures are value types, means its all values are mostly stored in stack. It can have fields, constructors and methods. So structure can have fields, constructors and method inside the structure. It can support instantiation, initialization and arrays. So inside a structure we can instantiate the values, initialize the values, and we can use arrays for a single structure. Means if we want to provide multiple data in the same structure, we can use arrays with structure. It can contain nested structure. So it can also contain nested structure, means if we have 2 or 3 structures and we want to put 2 structures inside the first structure, then we can use the concept of nested structure. It is useful for lightweight data representation. So it is very useful if we want to provide some data and print that data, then it is a good approach for structure. So these topics we will saw, and one by one we also saw these examples. You can revise all these topics into your Visual Studio. If you have any doubt related with these topics, you can mention them into the comment section. So let's wind up today's session. Thanks. See you in the next lecture.